Well, hello there. I'm Pete LaFrance, the old growler, and welcome to Meeting Expectations. If you're the first time here, well, this is what we do. We take a look at a bottle of beer or a can of beer. We take a look at the label, we read it, and we see if it meets expectations. Now, if you've been here before, let's see what we have today. Oh, and if you are a newcomer and you do enjoy this presentation, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you won't miss any of our presentations. All right, today we have a Samuel Smith Winter Welcome Ale from the Greyhound Inn, the folks at Samuel Smith, and this is the 21-2022 version of this one. It's in a 12-ounce bottle, 355 milliliters, and the good folks at, let's see here, the good folks at Merchant Event sent it to me, so I thank them very much. Okay, what does it say? Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale. The seasonal beer is limited edition, brewed for the short days and long nights of winter. The full body resulting from the fermentation in stone Yorkshire squares and the luxurious malt character, which will appeal to the broad range of drinkers, is balanced against whole-dried Fuggle and Golding hops with nuances and complexities that should be contemplated before an open fire. Well, thank goodness we don't have an open fire here in his apartment in Brooklyn. But I can tell you that it is 6% alcohol by volume, brewed by Samuel Smith's small traditional British brewery, the oldest brewery in Yorkshire. And let's see, what does it tell us here? It's a traditional product, season's greetings, brewed at Yorkshire's oldest brewery, blessings of your heart, your brew, good ale, William Shakespeare. All right, well, what does that tell us about this beer? Well, Samuel Smith's is a traditional English-style beer, Christmas beer, which essentially is relatively high in alcohol, but this is only 7%, it says. So it's 6%. So it's not that high. So I'm looking for a malty, and they mention the hops here as being Fuggle and Goldings, and those are traditional ale hops for the British. And so I'm expecting a very traditional British-style ale, which would be slightly sweet, not quite as hoppy as you would get an American-style beer. All right, let's crack open Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome and see if it meets expectations. Okay. It's got a little bit of carbonation coming off the top. We always use the same beer glasses for all of the beers we taste here at Meeting Expectations, thanks to Jerry Scott, because all of the beers are on an equal footing as far as the flavor perception and the perception of their colors. So let's crack this open and see if it meets expectations. Well, it certainly is well carbonated. That might have been a little bit of a heavy pour. Let's take a look at it. Okay, it does meet expectations as far as the head. It's a nice white head, a very copper. I mean, if you can see that, that's a very copper color to that brown, to the brown. And as always, we check. Since this is a Christmas ale, it should probably be served at around 50 degrees temperature, Fahrenheit. Let's just check and see what we have here. Well, this one's a little warm. It's 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just a little above cellar temperature. So we might have an enhancement of some of the aromatics. Well, let's go for the aromatics. The first nosedive. A rich roasted grain aroma for sure. And there's a bit of a floral tang to it, as if you were going into a florist's office, but you're not in the door yet. First swig. It is certainly a grain. You get a lot of the grain flavor to it, the malted grain, the roasted grain. But sliding along the top of that, sailing along the top of that flavor, is a tang. It's not a bitter, but it is a challenge to that sweetness of the malt. And as far as trying to give a name to that tang, there are citric tones to it. Not so much grapefruit or lemon, but certainly almost a Seville orange. You might get a Seville orange, a bitter orange on that. So you've got the bitter orange to balance out that roasted grain flavor. Well, one last sip to make sure. Well, there you have it. Certainly an outstanding ale, British ale. And when you bring up the alcohol content a little bit, yes, it is a Christmas ale. So, does Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale 2021-2022 meet expectations? It certainly does. I'm the Old Growler, hoping all of your beers meet expectations.